Welcome, welcome one and all. Winter Wizard here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and feelings on the Crusade system. Joining me today, whoever you are, and welcome to this little video of mine where I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and feelings on the Narrative Play Crusade system. So since the dawn of 9th edition I've been meaning to take a look at the Crusade system, and I've done that now, and I'm going to share with you what I think about it, whether I really think it's a narrative system, if it's something that I might be interested in, and perhaps this will also help you work out whether it's something that you'll be interested in as well. Oh well, it's cold and lonely here in Winter Wizard's frozen fortress, but it's a beautiful day out there, and I've got a nice cup of tea over here, Terran Gold, and I'm joined as always by my friend and co-host, Norwegian Troll, Dimmu, so this is going to be nice. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly run through, give you a sort of brief overview of how the rules of the system work. So if you aren't familiar with it, well, this will sort of give you a good insight as to how you can expect the games to play. This isn't somewhere that you're going to be able to learn all the rules. If you really want to get into this, I would suggest going and reading the rules yourself or finding another video to tell you how to do that. But I just thought I'd give you a flavour, an overview of how it works, and then we'll take it from there. So here we go, we're going to open this up, we're going to get started here. And narrative play, there we go, and coming on straight away, the Crusade Forces. So the Crusade system in a nutshell, as it says here, a Crusade Force is one that allows the players to track the development of their army from the greenest of recruits to the most hard-bitten veterans over the course of many battles. The more you play the Crusade Force, the more its units will gain experience, learn new abilities, acquire long-lost relics and earn battle scars. Crusade Forces are designed to be used as part of a personal campaign where you may play and grow your own favourite collection from a fledgling force into a powerful army feared across the galaxy, earning new battle honours with every victory or defeat. Every Crusade Force will be different, and the journey each takes will tell a unique story. So it's just a bit of an idea of what you can expect. It's a force, they gain honours and rank and traits and relics and things the more you play, and that's the general idea. So let me briefly outline the rules for you. So it starts here with the order of battle, which is this sheet just here. In Games Workshop they give you one that you can photocopy and print out. And the order of battle is essentially a long list of all the different units that you have access to in your force. It doesn't mean that you'll always play with all of them, but this is all the ones that your force has access to. At first there is a limit as to how much you can take. So your power level limit, it works in power level, is 50. So at first, when you're writing your order of battle, when you're adding all your units to here, the total power rating of all those units can't go above 50. In addition to your order of battle, you will also have Crusade Cards, and this is what this is on the right hand side here. For every unit that you have, each unit will have its own Crusade card, and this tells you the name of the unit, all its statistics, equipment, war gear, warlord traits, relics, anything like that. Also there's sections here for keeping tallies of various different things as well. So you'll have your order of battle, a collection of all your available units with a maximum of 50 power level at first, and each unit will also have its own Crusade card. Something else to be aware of, every unit will have a certain value in Crusade Points. Every unit starts at 0. When you upgrade them, when you complete battles and various other things, you will earn more Crusade Points. And Crusade Points, they total up. When you're putting two armies together, there's a balancing mechanism later on. If one army has more Crusade Points than the other, there's ways to mitigate the battle to make it a little fairer. But more on that later. Once you add a unit to an order of battle, it can't be changed. You can't adjust it, you can't change its war gear or its unit size at all. You can add and remove units to your order of battle as much as you like, but if a unit that's on your order of battle has been taken off, it will lose any relics, bonuses, traits, experience points, things like that. All that will be gone. If you add it again, it will be starting afresh. When you compose your Crusade force for the first time, you will not get a free warlord trait, and you will not have a free relic. Not like in match play games. You will declare a warlord, and that has to be the model with the highest leadership in your force. That'll be your warlord. Okay, you don't get a free warlord trait, you don't get a relic. That comes later. The exception to this rule is named characters. Now, named characters, they will always have a warlord trait, even if they are not your warlord. So how can you get a warlord trait? How can you get relics and things like that? Well, that comes with requisition points. So what are they? Well, again, when you initially compose your order of battle, you will be immediately awarded with 5 requisition points, and these are for you to spend on requisitions. So you will earn more of these by completing battles, completing objectives and things like that. But you can never have more than 5 at your disposal at any one time. So you get awarded 5 immediately. They're there for you to spend. You'll earn more as you play games, but you can never have more than 5 in your bag at one point. So those are your requisition points, and we can then spend them on requisitions. So the requisitions, they're things that are going to be able to manipulate and alter your order of battle and the units on them as well. You're going to enable you to buy warlord traits and relics. For example, increase your supply limit. Remember I said that you have a maximum when you start your order of battle, you have a maximum power level of 50. That's called your supply limit. So 1 requisition for 1 RP, you can increase that supply limit. You can gain an extra 5 power at your disposal. And that's how your army is going to expand. Fresh recruits, you can add some more units to an existing unit. Remember I said that once they're on your order of battle, you can't alter them. Well, here you can. Rearm and supply, you can manipulate the war gear. Psychic meditations, you can change your psychic powers. Everything that you initiate on your order of battle can't be changed once it's there. So how do you change them? It's through requisition points and through your requisitions. And your requisitions are going to be where you're going to buy warlord traits here. 1 RP, allocate a warlord trait to a character. And you can have more than 1 warlord trait in your Crusade army as well. And over here, relics as well. So you won't start with 1, but you can immediately spend requisition to earn them like so. So that's your requisition points. Basically, they enable you to manipulate your roster, manipulate your units on there as well. So we've got our order of battle, we've got our units, we've maybe bought some warlord traits, some relics and things like so. Now what we're going to do, we're going to play some games. So you've got your Crusade mission pack here, combat patrol, incursion, strike force, onslaught, but the size of your armies is determined by power level, not points, so it's maximum power level. You've got a variety of missions here, all very nice. Quite reminiscent of the match play games that you might find in this book or in the chapter approved tutorial tournament pack. Some of these have got a little bit more of a thematic vibe to them. Supply cache, the relic, sabotage. It's all a little bit different, all a bit more thematic. Those requisition points we talked about, you're going to get 1 of those for being in the battle. You're going to gain 2, usually anyway. The victor, like for example here, supplies from above. The victor of this mission gains 2 requisition points after this battle instead of just 1. So for participating in a battle, you're going to earn a requisition points. You win the battle, you're going to get 2. So that's how you can get more of those. Each mission, of course, is going to have its primary objectives, but also these here. So these are called your agendas. They're going to be very reminiscent of a lot of the secondary objectives that you might be familiar with from the match play games. For example, assassins. You get points for killing characters, you get points for slaying warlord, kingslayer here, cull the hordes, so killing lots of little stuff. Things like Lord of the Warp, points for doing psychic powers, shadow operations, getting objectives, deep striking, things like that. So very much kind of like your secondary objectives that you would find, minor stuff, but you're going to earn points for those. But what kind of points are you going to earn? Well, these are going to be experience points. You've got your primaries and your victor bonuses for earning requisition points to spend on requisitions, things like warlord traits, relics, stuff that's going to alter your order of battle as well. And you've got your secondary agendas, and these are going to earn the individual units themselves, which complete these, it's going to earn them experience points. But your agendas, your secondary sort of objective style things, it's not the only way that you can earn experience. You'll get them through there from playing in game. But here as well, for every time that unit participates in a battle, you'll gain 1 experience. You'll keep a tally on each unit's Crusade card of the number of enemy units that they've slain over the course of the Crusade. For every 3rd tally, you'll gain an experience point, Dealers of Death there. And at the end of every game, a freebie for you as well, marked for greatness. So you can choose a unit, boom, you can mark it for greatness, and it immediately gains 3 experience points. And that's how you can get all your experience. All units are going to earn experience points. The only exceptions to this are named characters, swarms, drones, fortifications, and units that you summon, such as demons. None of those units can earn experience points, but everything else can. You're going to keep a track of every unit's experience points on their Crusade card. And as the unit gains more and more experience points, well, you might find yourself increasing in rank. So your units can gain rank, experience points, 0 to 5 experience points, you're rank battle ready. 6 to 15 you become bloodied, 16 to 30 experience points you become battle hardened, 31 to 50 experience points you become heroic, and 51 plus experience points you become legendary. So what do these ranks mean? Well, each time you go up in a rank, the unit will earn what's called a battle honor. And that's what it says here. Battle ready rank, 0 battle honors. Become bloodied, gain 1 battle honor. Become battle hardened, gain 2, so on and so on. And so what are these battle honors? Well, that's the really fun bit, really. You get a choice. Earn a battle honor, you get to pick from one of the following categories: battle traits, weapon enhancements, psychic fortitudes, Crusade Relics. You get to choose something nice to play with from there. Choose a battle trait, for example, and that unit gains this trait for the rest of the Crusade, and you'd make a note of it on your Crusade cards. Typical things like reroll the hit rolls of 1 when resolving attacks, or gain +2 to its movement, or add 1 to saving throws against anything with an AP of -1. So it's going to gain something to make it a bit more special. Or perhaps you could choose a weapon enhancement, and this one model in the unit is going to get a bonus to its weapon, either a ranged weapon or a melee weapon, something along the lines of add 1 to the weapon's damage characteristic, add 1 to the hit rolls with that weapon, add 1 to the weapon's strength characteristic, so on and so on. If your unit's a psycho, well, maybe you'd like to choose a psychic fortitude. This is going to be increasing things like your ability to make psychic powers go off, the amount of powers that the unit might know. Not only that, we've also got Crusade Relics as well. So things such as master-crafted armor, conversion field, artisan bionics, weapons such as vortex grenades, blackstone shard amulet, all sorts of cool things that you can use. And that's your battle honors. Every time you earn experience points for completing secondary objectives, you'll climb in rank, earn battle honors. For every honor that you earn, you can choose either a battle trait, a weapon enhancement, psychic fortitude, or a relic for that unit as well. All the units that die in battle have to take out of action tests. So you roll a d6, and on a 2 up you're fine. On a 1 you have to make a choice: a devastating blow to lose experience points, or a battle scar, which is a negative trait that is then attached to that unit for the rest of the Crusade. Every unit you have will also have a Crusade Points total attached to it. They'll generally start at 0, and every time you do things like earn battle honors or gain upgrades, you're going to increase its Crusade Points. And the point of that is here. When you're selecting a Crusade army, you and your opponent get your armies together to an agreed power level limit, but you also total up your Crusade Points total as well. And if somebody has a total which is higher than the other, what you do, you take the difference between the two, halve it, and the player with the less Crusade points will earn extra command points equal to that total. So for example, you take 2 armies that are about to fight. This one has a Crusade points total of 10. This one has a Crusade points total of 6. So in an effort to try and balance the game somewhat, you take the difference between those 2 points totals, 10 and 6, which is 4, halve it, gets you to 2, and the person with less Crusade points will earn that many extra command points. So in this particular scenario, the person with 6 Crusade points against the person with 10 will start with an additional 2 command points to use in game. just a little extra thing to show you, all the new codexes, such as Codex Supplement Space Wolves here, they're all going to have their own little sections as well, which covers some Crusade rules, such as, here we go, so your own specific agendas in battle that you can use here, your own specific battle traits, and unique requisitions that you can pay for as well. Things like unique relics and other stuff as well. So all armies are going to have their own little section of Crusade in the codexes as well. And there you go, those are the rules. So you're going to be going off on Crusade, you're going to be earning relics, earning traits, gaining battle scars, getting requisition points to adjust your roster and your order of battle, and you're going to have a merry time of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you what I think of it, whether I think it's a good system, and I'm going to talk about some other things as well. So we're going to get into that now. So overall, I think the Crusade system is actually very interesting and quite cool. I generally quite like it. The first thing I want to talk about is a bit of a criticism, really, and it's that just the rules section themselves. I don't think is very well written at all, to be perfectly honest. I think it's a bit of a jumble. There's a lot of flicking back and forth, trying to find stuff. It took me about 3 reads to really sort of get to grips with everything. And I don't just mean absorb it, I mean trying to reference stuff, trying to find where things were. He's talking about experience points here. I'd want everything to do with experience all in the same section, you know. So there's, and I don't know. It just seems like a bit of a mess, a bit jumbled up. Like I said, have a look at it yourself. If you disagree with me, let me know. Tell me in the comments below. But there's just a lot of back and forth flicking. Things seem a bit all over the place. You've got this, there you go. What I found really helpful was was this section here that says Crusade Mission Pack, and then after that you've got all the stuff that happens after a battle, and that's kind of all just hidden and stuck in here. I kind of would very much have liked a nice decent key layout of all those different bits. I don't know, I don't want to touch on that too long. I just think it was a bit jumbled up, a bit of a mess. There's a very beautiful Gene Stealer cult army slaps right in the middle of it as well, which is a bit confusing. But yeah, I just think structurally it could have been worked much better. You know, a bit more straightforward, you know, talk about this, show us how it works, talk about this, show us how it works, talk about this. Structurally, take it step by step a bit better, rather than mention a lot of things and then don't talk about them until later on, and then it doesn't seem like a very step-by-step, it doesn't seem like a very well done step-by-step guide to teach you the rules. But once you get past that, the rule system then itself, the way stuff earns points, oh, that's another thing actually. You've got everything's got Crusade points, it's got requisition points, it's got experience points. There's a lot of points going on here, you know. They could have maybe called it something else, but I started getting a bit confused when I was first learning this. I was being a bit like, well, what was Crusade points? What was the point in that? It like talks about Crusade points right early on. Doesn't really explain that or how they increase or what the point of them is until all the way later. It's that little power, that little command point bonus thing I was talking about. But yeah. But anyway, the rules themselves I actually really like. I think they're good. I do think they're good. I like the way things, you know, they gain experience. I like the agendas, actually. I like the idea that, where are they? I like the agendas a lot, actually. I like that these are for particular units as well, so each unit can achieve an agenda and it will be rewarded for it. for it too. Climbing the ranks is cool. Getting all your relics and your getting all your relics and your traits and your honors and stuff is very nice. And the twist that you could be crippled with a battle scar. Yeah, I love that. That's really cool. And the way I just brought the Space Wolves Codex out, the way that each faction will have its own unique stuff that it can achieve, and its own unique agendas. Love that. Anything that makes a faction feel more like itself gets a big thumbs up from me. And the little Crusade mission packs that are coming, they've got the Veil Beyond the Veil, the Brian Nexus one, and there's a new one coming, Plague Purge. So I like the idea that you could jump into a little mini crusade. You know, experience your little crusade band could go off and experience the story of a certain event or something that's going on somewhere in the galaxy. So that's all very cool. So yeah, I think it works. I think it works. I think the upgrade system works well. Having your roster and your requisition works well. I haven't actually played any games of this, but I think on face value, just from reading the rules, once I finally got to grips with them, I think it would work. I think you've got a good little system here. I think some people are gonna absolutely love this. I think some people, this is gonna be wonderful. Certainly if you like a lot of rules, if you like a lot of editing and a lot of tweaking and a lot of that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Just the rules section itself, I don't think it's written very well, sadly. But again, maybe that's just me. So, next thing I'm going to talk about is this something that I personally think I'm going to get involved with? And so the answer to that, is this something that I'm going to get involved with? The answer is probably not, actually. To be perfectly honest. Well, maybe. I think maybe. Maybe I might, but as a general consensus, maybe not. So let me explain. Something I'm not a fan of, actually. Because what you can do, you have your Crusade force, and you could find a random person with their Crusade force, and you could both fight each other, and it's essentially like having a match play game. Because the missions they do feel a little bit more thematic, but they do feel very reminiscent of the match play sort of games as well. There's nothing wrong with those games, but it's kind of like you teaming up with somebody else who has a Crusade army to play a match play game with your Crusade forces, and that's not just your normal force, it's a force that's got a ton of other bits and bobs going on, you know, units that have got traits and relics and scars, and it's like 9th edition match play with a ton of extra stuff thrown in there, and I don't think I'm very interested in doing that at all. What I certainly might be interested in doing, though, is this reminds me a lot of when my brother and I were kids. We had a lot of Lord of the Rings Warhammer miniatures, and we liked doing these little campaign type stuff ourselves. And we would have like a sheet of paper with a list of all our characters on it, and they might earn extra bonuses or scars or battle scars and stuff. Or people might actually die, and then they'd have to start over again. And you know, they'd be slain for good, which doesn't happen in here. You know, you can earn as many battle scars as you like, but your unit's never going to sort of die for good. So I don't know about that. We liked the campaign element where units, characters, they could succumb to their wounds for good. And those little games that we did, they were little games. Little bands of warriors, skirmishes, and I think this kind of system lends itself nicely to small size games, to small size forces. So where might I think that I would use this? Just me and one other person, or maybe 3 or 4 of us, a small group of us, with small forces, and we're all starting our crusade at the same time. And we're trying to come up with a story, a narrative element to surround it as well. Because I think that's missing from here. I'm going to talk about that a bit more in a second. there isn't really any story to this. The story is your units upgrading themselves and getting battle hardened, but there's no bigger story than that. You know, the missions don't really have an effect on the next mission. They have an effect on the troops, on the units themselves, you know, but they don't really have an effect on the following mission or the campaign itself. And I think that's the biggest problem with me, for me, with this system, is that really narrative play. This is essentially what you know, you open up the narrative play section and this is what they've given you. Well, I don't think this is narrative play, to be honest. This is Crusade play, and I think some people are going to absolutely love this, and I like it, I do, but I don't know if it's something that I'm going to be playing a lot of. Maybe a little bit, I might dabble here and there. Set up a bit of a campaign with a small group of mates and start at the same time, so you can see all our armies increase, you know, getting their traits and scars at the same time, and creating a bit of a narrative backdrop as well. But it doesn't feel like narrative play to me. I mean, maybe you disagree. Let me know in the comments below, please. It surprises me, because what I think this would be really good at, what I think would work really well for Crusade, would be if Games Workshop had released it as a separate entity, you know, as a separate pack. You know, like your tournament pack, your match play tournament pack. I would have liked to have seen this released as the Crusade pack, you know, a whole new way of playing. It's not narrative. Don't call it narrative. Don't call it match play. Just call it Crusade play, you know, and release it like as a book on its own. It surprises me that they don't do that, because you know what Games Workshop are like, and I think that would have made them some money. And but yeah, so and I think, you know, you could have you could release the book and have it could come with like a little paper booklet type thing, like a tear out booklet or something as well, like added, you know, just put in the same pack. You could have like a selection of sheets, and you could have like a little tear out paper data Crusade cards, because at the moment all you've got is this, and here in the which is, yeah, it says here permission to photocopy for personal use, but you know, I don't have a photocopier here in the Frozen Fortress, so I don't know. And I think they could have sold those little packs as well. There's some more money for you, GW. But yeah, that surprises me. I think this would have worked really well as a standalone release, you know. Welcome to Crusade, a new way of playing. But then what do you do with the narrative play section of the core rules? Because I don't feel like that's very narrative to me. You know, there's no story. It doesn't. I've already said it, but for me the story doesn't feel there, and that's to me that's what narrative play is. I'm going to talk about that a bit now. But yeah, so let's talk about that. So what is narrative play to me? What do I think narrative play is? Narrative play is about the stories, I suppose. It doesn't always have to be balanced. I think when I play match play, you want a nice balanced game, obviously. It's more about you know, the playing of the game, the mechanics of the game are fair, and about trying to sort of outplay your opponent. You know, you're trying to do that with narrative as well. You're still trying to win, but I feel like narrative is more about the overall story, the setup, you know, the thematics, the epic moments, the epic deeds, the character showdowns. Why are these armies fighting? That's what is often missing from match play. You turn up, you play a game, it's a game, and you know, I'm not a tournament player at all, but I do enjoy, you know, flexing my my gaming muscles when I'm trying to play the game. But I also really love trying to think of, well, why are these armies here? Why are they fighting? What's the point of this this battle? And I think that, you know, that's kind of what narrative play is to me, anyway, in my opinion. Let me know if you disagree. please. You know, it's about the stories, it's about the setup, the reason why they're fighting, and that sort of stuff. So what I want to do is, I'm going to show you now some ways that I think narrative play should be in here, and this is all stuff coming from Games Workshop themselves. So let me cast your mind back to 8th edition over here. We open up this rule book onto the narrative play section. Narrative play. And what do we got? We've got some specific rules here, of course. But check out these missions. Now these are, and like they start with like they're very much about a sort of story, a reason why there's a fight. And they've got specific stratagems here for the mission, which is really cool. There's an ambush here. These are all really thematic type missions, and you know, you know, it's not all about being perfectly balanced either. Patrol, blitz, all these different sort of themed missions and thematics and stuff, which is cool. But so that's good. But let me show you something. Take a look at this. Chapter approved 2019 edition. For me, this was a fantastic book, and it didn't get to spend very long in the spotlight, you know. But check out some of this. So we open this up and we go to the narrative play section of 2019 chapter approved. Now, side note, that's an amazing piece of artwork. It's absolutely stunning. But yeah, I mean, just look. You can just looking at that, you can think of the story that's going on here. This like this epic showdown there. Yeah, it's brilliant. But you got all the stuff in here. Spearhead. You got special rules for playing tank games, which are which have a focus on tanks. These additional rules here: preliminary bombardment, dawn raid, battle, sustained assault, you know, things like never-ending swarms and concealed deployment and things like that. And there's countless reasons why stuff like that may have happened, you know. Rarely do armies just sort of turn up on a field and have a fight, you know. Sometimes you don't know what to expect of the enemy. Maybe they're entirely concealed in their deployment, or you soften them up with some bombardments first. So there's rules for that in here. And check out these missions as well. Again, more just really strange deployments and really thematic missions. Spearhead stratagems. And linked games. Now, I absolutely love this idea. And for me, this is what I really want to see with some narrative. So these linked games, they did a whole section on where you're... where the games that you play, the outcome affects the following battle. And they did it, they did this by combining, you'd play 3 games, you'd have Kill Team, Warhammer 40K, and Apocalypse. Which I think is a really cool idea. I do like that a lot, but, you know, not everybody plays Kill Team, not everybody plays Apocalypse. So I would really love to see something like this, with just 40k, you know. You know, you've got like a mini campaign with so many rounds, and you know, there's some starting conditions and things like this, and you know, depending on who wins the battle, this happens before the start of the next battle, or this happens to that army, or that army has this many less power points or points level or something like that. To me, that's so cool to me. I love that. So that's, to me, just drips and oozes narrative, you know, like the outcome of this battle is going to affect what happens in the next battle. And you could do something like this. What would be really cool maybe is if you had this, and if you want to have the different sizes, you would say battle 1, this is going to be a 2,000 point, this is going to be a strike force game, and depending on who wins, this is going to happen next time. And maybe this battle is an incursion, it's a 1,000 point game. maybe this battle here is a 3,000 point, it's onslaught, so you have your different sizes as well. There's different missions with different themes, you know. One's more of a you know, an absolute slaughterous like world-ending scale battle, you know. 3,000 points is a part of that. But the mission before that, which sets up the premise of that, is going to be a combat patrol, 500 point, like a little, like your kill team, like your sort of like your mini sort of elite tactical team with a very specific mission in mind. And I love that, and they touched on that here, and it didn't get the light of day, you know. And if they did that with just 40k, you know, that would be so cool. And something else which is really cool fun, these challenge missions, you know, these are basically designed not to be balanced at all. It's basically like you put like a small force against a horrific foe, and they have a particular victory condition, you know, they have to survive, or they have to do this in so much time, and they've got to weather this unbelievable storm against this horrible foe. And that's just really great fun, you know. And look, they've given you a list of plot hooks and ideas here, which is great, you know. I've got no problem coming up with my own ideas and stuff, but it's so nice to have stuff to riff off of, you know. Inspiration. It's just great for Games Workshop to have their own, you know, these are our favourites. And you can choose them, you can manipulate them, or you can do what you like with them. These are your challenge missions. This is just great fun, you know. Just great fun. You know, you're playing like a narrative campaign or something, and you think, we've got this game coming up and it's a pinnacle game. But from where the story is going, I feel like it should be a challenge game. It should be, you know, an overwhelming force. And, you know, you've got some sort of a guideline to do that with here. Again, unique stratagems, which is cool for the mission, you know. You don't have to go overboard with this, but things like, you know, the attacker has some, the defender has some. That's a really cool idea. And another thing that I think is really, really cool for your narrative stuff, and something that I really like, and I think for me, battle reports, I definitely would like to have a go at doing some in the future. And if I'm going to do some narrative style stuff, then this sounds really cool to me. Think of battle zones. And this one, tank graveyard, for example. So you're playing in a certain location, you're playing on a certain type of planet, whether it's a graveyard of tanks, or if it's a death world, you know, an ice world, or you know, if it's in the eye of a psychic maelstrom or something like that. You know, and when you flick to the back of this chapter approved book, they start touching on bits of that as well. There's this section for all your fortifications, which is all very nice, very cool. Very awesome to have some of that. But you get down here your battlefield terrain, and you see a lot of this in the core rules now, and that's awesome. I'm so glad that they included that in the core rules. You know, terrain should have an impact on the game. But then they've also got things like you know, they've got all sorts of unique stuff, like these reactors here, which they offer you cover, but if you stand near them for ages, then they can hurt you, because they're just like, they're radium reactors or something like that. And things like this, back to like battle zones. Think of battle zones. A death world, a forest death world, and it's got rules for it. It's got rules for it, like the plants can hurt you and stuff. That's so cool. It just adds to the story and the narrative, you know, of where they're playing and what's going on. So I love that. So to wrap this video up, because the sun is going down here in Winter Wizard's Frozen Fortress, things are starting to wind down. So while we've still got a bit of light, let's wrap this up. So what would I like to see when I opened up the narrative play section of the core rules? Well, I'd love to see a section on like on narrative style missions, you know, some narrative missions that you can play. You know, things like this. I'd want to see a section on battle zones. That's really cool. Just have a section, you know. Give them like, I don't know, just a choice of battle zones, and maybe like 2 special rules for each battle zone. So you're playing on a tank graveyard, where you've got you got your unexploded ordnance here. You know, there's random explosions happening and stuff. It's a smoky wasteland, you know. You get lots of cover and stuff like that. Or you've got your death world, your plants' death world, so you can incorporate the terrain into that. Or for example, battle zone, think of a rad-reaved world. You know, a whole planet which is just consumed with radiation and stuff. Just a rule like, just 2 special rules, rad-reaved. Every unit on the board is -1 toughness. Crazy stuff, but you know, you're not trying to have a tournament game here. This is just fun twists and narrative twists, you know, which is awesome. So think of a battle zone, rad-reaved. Every unit on the board is -1 to toughness, and allocate some. And your second thing, allocate which terrain pieces are going to be hazardous terrain. Hazardous cover, like so. Roll a d6 each time you make an unmodified hit roll of a 6. For a unit within 3 inches, gaining the cover from this inch. On a 1, suffers a mortal wound. So you can get cover, but it's also harmful. Just this really sort of toxic, deadly sort of world to be fighting on. And other battle zones, you know, you've got your tank graveyard, your death world forest, your rad-reaved world. Imagine something like psychic maelstrom, you know. So all psychic tests, all demonic rituals. You get plus 2 or something to your psychic tests. But you know, you can peril on any double, you know. So, things like that, or you get access to all your powers. Stuff like that. So I'd want to see a section on various battle zones, and keep it simple. Battle zone this, and there's 2 special rules to go with it. So you can declare, you know, we're playing on this map, and we're declaring that it's a frozen death world, or we're playing on this map, and we're claiming that it's a tank graveyard, you know. Yes, I want to see thematic missions. I want to see battle zones, and I want to see linked campaign style games, you know, games that are linked together, and maybe a list of narrative stratagems, you know, narrative stratagems which you can use, maybe for specific missions, or maybe just a page of here are some extra narrative, perhaps slightly game-breaking stratagems that you can use, you know, like orbital bombardments, or you know, there's a spaceship that's been shot out of the sky and it's crashed into the planet or something like that at some point. But you know, they are costly, and there's ways to counter them, but just fun stuff, you know. It doesn't matter if it breaks the game too much, as long as it's cool as hell, you know, as long as it's fluffy, and it drives the story. And it doesn't have to be complex. That's the thing. I don't think you don't necessarily want complexity. The Crusade system has a ton of complexity, and if that's your thing, you know, if you like sort of RPG roleplay style, lots of little intricate upgrades and statistics and data sheets and stuff, you're gonna love Crusade. And I think I'll find some use for it. But this is what I would really love. So rant over, really. I think Chapter Approved 2019 did a better job of showing you what narrative play should be like, rather than the 9th edition rules themselves. But that doesn't mean that I think Crusade is bad. I think Crusade is good. I think some people are going to absolutely love it. I might find use for it at some point. I think, to me, it's better off as a small game. To me, it's better off with one other person, a small group of other people, starting at the same time, your forces going up together. That's what I would like to do with it, I think. But tell me your comments below. What do you think of Crusade? Is it something for you? Do you think it's narrative enough? Any thoughts, opinions? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm right, but whatever you think, drop it down below, and we'll have a nice conversation about it down there. Well, there we go then. So those are my thoughts and feelings on the Crusade system for 9th edition 40k. Dimmu and I will be back very soon with some more content for you. But if you've enjoyed the video today, then a like and a comment would be very, very much appreciated. And if you'd like to see more of what goes on here inside the Frozen Fortress, then perhaps you'll also consider becoming a subscriber. And once again, whoever you are, thank you very, very much for joining me today. I'm Winter Wizard, that's Dimmu, and for now, keep it frosty.